Oh, sorry about that. Today, we're going to be talking about 8 things that God says about the way you look. Thank you so much for watching today. Make sure to subscribe to Anchor Church's YouTube channel if you haven't done that already. We are going to be tackling the topic of body image today that I know a lot of us struggle with. I think the statistic is something like 75% of us are not happy with the way that we look. And so I want to tackle this subject with you today. So right off the bat, I know when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I do is I go to the bathroom and I look in the mirror. And a lot of times I see a zit on my face that came overnight. I see maybe a couple extra pounds when I step on the scale. I see just disappointment. My hair's too thin or something's wrong with the way that I look. And so today I want to talk to you about how to change our mindset when it comes to how we look and how God sees how we look. So let's get right into it. So number 1 today is we were created in the image of God. So this comes from Genesis 1:26. It says, "Then God said, 'Let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness, so that they may rule over the fish in the sea, the birds in the sky, over the livestock and all the wild animals, and over all the creatures that move along the ground.'" So what I love about this passage is if you go back to Genesis 1 and you read throughout the whole thing, God creates the sun, the moon, the stars, the night, the morning, everything, the birds, the sky, everything in this world. And then he creates us. And so when I look at that passage, I see us as the grand finale. He even makes us in his image. We're the only creatures on this earth that are made in the image of God. So the second point is don't try to please people in the way that you look. That's not what you were created for. This comes from Galatians 1:10. It says, "Am I now trying to win the approval of human beings or of God? Or am I trying to please people? If I were still trying to please people, I would not be a servant of Christ." Now, at face value, this might not really look like a verse on body image, but I just want to ask you this question and ask myself the same thing. Is why do we care so much about fashion trends, or why do I care so much when I wake up with a zit on my face or put on those extra pounds? Why do I care so much? It's because it's what people are going to think about me, right? And I would assume it's the same reason for you. And so when you're thinking about that moment in middle school that somebody made fun of you for the way that you looked, just stop and think, what does God think about me in this moment? Number 3 is your body is a temple. So this comes from 1 Corinthians 6:19-20. "Or do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit within you, whom you have from God? You are not your own. You were bought with a price. So glorify God in your body." So right before this famous verse, Paul is actually talking about how because Jesus died on the cross, we're able to basically, as Christians, do whatever we want and still get into heaven, right? But that doesn't mean it's beneficial for us. And so what does that mean for us today? That means I can eat 20 Twinkies, but that doesn't mean that's going to be what's best for me. It means I can sleep with whoever I want, but that doesn't mean that that's going to benefit my future marriage very much. That means we can sit on the couch for 10 hours and watch Netflix, but it'll affect our health and it'll probably make us lazy in the long run. So what does that mean? How can we take this a step further and really process this verse? It means, I think of it as this question, is whatever you're doing with your body, would you do it in a church? Number 4 is God looks at your heart. And this comes from 1 Samuel 16:7. It says, "But the Lord said to Samuel, 'Do not consider his appearance or his height, for I have rejected him.'" The Lord looks at the things Number 4 is God looks at your heart. "But the Lord said to Samuel, 'Do not consider his appearance or his height, for I have rejected him.'" The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. Samuel is looking for the next king of Israel, and the king that was on the throne right then was a very manly man. His name was Saul. But the king that was going to come after him wasn't as manly of a man. He wasn't as tall as Saul, and that was important in that day. And so when you're thinking about somebody, sometimes I know we can be judgmental as human beings. And so when you're looking at somebody and you're wondering why they're wearing that shirt or why they're wearing those jeans, think to yourself, how does God see this person right now? Number 5 is you are fearfully and wonderfully made. This comes from Psalm 139:14. It says, I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. If you stop right now and you read all of chapter 139, you'll see David, the same guy that Samuel was actually talking about in this the last verse. He is talking about how God knows him so well. He knows the hairs on his head. He knows him about when he was born. He knows every single thing about him. And he still says he's fearfully and wonderfully made. So what does this mean for us today? I want you to do me a favor right now. Think about the children in your life. It might be your children, it might be your nieces or nephews, or it might be your friends' kids, whoever they are. Imagine them coming up to you and saying, I'm fat and ugly. Now, hopefully, you would stop them right then and there, and you would say, no, you are beautiful just the way that you are. Number 6 is a gentle and quiet spirit is better than outward beauty. This comes from 1 Peter 3:3-4. It says, do not let your adorning be external, the braiding of your hair, the putting on of gold jewelry, or the clothing you wear, but let your adorning be the hidden person of the heart with the imperishable beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is in God's eyes very precious. So fun fact, this verse was once used against me. I was in high school at the time, and someone came up to me and said, I think you should memorize this verse. And it was a day that I kind of got dressed up, and I'm pretty sure it was a little passive-aggressive way of saying that I shouldn't care so much about the way that I look. And so I want to be clear here. I don't think it's wrong to get dressed up. I mean, I have curly hair and I have, this is fake gold jewelry on right now, but I don't think that that's wrong. What I think this verse is saying is you need to care more about your inward appearance than you do your outward appearance. And so one way I like to think about this, a question that I would ask you is, did you spend as much time today getting ready as you did spending time with God? So what I mean by that is, did you spend an hour getting ready, doing your hair, showering, putting on your makeup, everything that takes, and then did you spend about a minute with God, saying, hey, God, bless my day today? Number 7 is use your body for the glory of God. This comes from Romans 12:1-2. Therefore, I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. So right before this passage, Paul is talking to the Jews and the Gentiles, those people who aren't Jewish. And one thing that the Jewish people and other religions of that day knew very well was sacrifices. And so when Paul is saying, offer your body as a living sacrifice, they knew exactly what that meant. That meant to be set apart for God. So what does that mean for us today? That means that at the end of a hard day's work, can you look back and see how you glorified God with your body that day? I know for me, I'm in ministry full time, and so if I have a really long day of, let's say, being at church services, and I come home and I'm completely exhausted because I spent all of my energy giving time to other people, I can say, I glorified God with my body today. But maybe for you, you work full-time as an engineer, let's say, and you're giving all that you can towards your job because that's where God has called you to be, and you are making the best buildings in the world. Then I would say that you are using your body for the glory of God. Number 8 is think good things about yourself. Philippians 4:8 says, finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. As we end today, I want to encourage you to think good things about the body that God has given you. And this might be really hard for some of us. And so if you can't come up with this list on your own, I would encourage you to ask your significant other or ask your friends or ask your mom to help you come up with a little bit of a list to help you say more positive things about your body. So for me, I've been lifting more at the gym. You can see my muscles right here. So I'm up to 80 pounds on some of the machines, and I think that's pretty excellent. My hands are here communicating with you. My voice is here helping carry across this message, encouraging you with your body image. And so I think that's pretty pure. I can go hiking with my husband because I've been trying to get my endurance up more and not get exhausted, and I think that's pretty admirable. And then finally, I think my smile lights up a room, and so I think that's pretty lovely. So what about you? What's your list? I'd love to know in the comments what you come up with, what you think is great about your body, because so often, like I said at the beginning of this video, we can start our day off with the negative things of what's wrong with us, but let's try to focus on the good today. If this video was helpful at all to you, please like it, and if you can subscribe to our channel as well, we'd love to help you experience God in a new way every day.